Hello everyone! This is going to be a Stars' video. First of many I hope. First of many I hope you enjoy. I'm here, freezing my little tail off out here. hiding in our van in the hopes of not waking up my children at god-awful hours in the morning. It's terrifying. I tried to record in our house, our little tiny abode, and then my voice carries so far, and my children are wanting to wake up, and I'm like, no, don't do it. You want to sleep longer. Dad has things he has to get done. So I kid you not. I'm out here, freezing weather, sitting in my wife's van because it's bigger and more spacious than my Jeep. And, it's actually sealed properly so we can get some ambient noise gone. And, guess what the first thing she did? And I bet all you people with wives can relate. I text her just to make sure. Oh my God. Wow. Thank you, phone. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to leave that in. Because I want you guys to know what you're getting into. This ain't no morphologist video, baby. We're just gonna have a good time. This is the everyman stream. All right, this is the poor man's stream, which seems like an oxymoron since we're talking about Star Citizen. But poor men can buy computers too. We take a long time saving up for it. We squeeze together our copper coins for years as we give all our money to our wives and our children and to fix crap. And we pray nothing breaks down for 5 minutes at least once a month so we can squeeze together some copper coins, toss them at the man, grab our computer we've been dreaming about, the computer that we're going to own for like 20 years and run into the ground. And it just so happens for about 3 or 4 years of that, it'll run Star Citizen. And we're stoked because we've been drooling over the darn thing from afar for God knows how many years, and we're finally in. Well, sir, this video is for you. Or maybe, you're in that process of saving up those little silver pennies and you want in on it, but you're watching them videos. This is for you. You, sir. The kind of person who comes out 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe earlier, and that's a completely different purpose. But your wife hears about it, and she asks you to scrape the ice and snow off her car for her while you're out. And you're like, well, you know what? I love my wife. I'm going to get it done. That's where I'm at right now. I'm paying my wife tax, as it were, to use the minivan I bought her. I mean, what is that? Shouldn't I be taxing her? Oh, I do in my own way. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Star Citizen because I'm in your camp, gentlemen. I have squeezed together my copper coins, have finally made it, and I've noticed that there's a whole heap of Star Citizen YouTube channels out there, but most of them have spent like thousands of dollars on the game, on a video game. Even some of them, thousands of dollars on their rig. God, I don't even want to think about how much they pay in internet every month. And a lot of them, it's not their main gig, too. I sit there and I think, wow. My wife's pregnant with baby number 3 right now, and I'm just sitting there going, I can't imagine spending thousands of dollars on a video game, no matter how cool it is. And I think a lot of people are in that same boat with me. And we everyday men, we get left by the wayside a lot of times. Because, there's really 2 options with most of the YouTubers I've seen and guys who cover Star Citizen and get into the community. You have the type of guy who could spend thousands of dollars on a video game. A lot of the tech guys who get into the game because they're just impressed with what they're attempting. Yeah, those guys. And then you have the guys who aren't necessarily extremely rich, but they have no immediate family. They have their parents and whatnot, but They don't have any wives or kids, so they have two things to spend their money on: their own little asses and video games. And naturally, that means their YouTube channel grows and they buy lots of spaceships, and it's actually an investment for them. I can respect it. But how is that guy supposed to relate to us everyday sorts? You know? No, I'm sure there's because I didn't realize just how many many YouTube channels there are for Star Citizen. I'm sure there's plenty of everyday guys out there too, just throwing a live stream up every now and then for the heck of it because they have a good time. But for the most part, and that's it's just a lot of guys who have spent thousands of dollars on a video game, and that I can never I'm nothing against you guys, but I can't relate to you. I don't understand. Even if I had the money, I don't comprehend. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that. I just want to play a cool spaceship game. Go pew pew pew, bang bang, explosion, do some crazy shenanigans online. And, you know, I don't want to break the bank doing it, since, breaking the bank would mean breaking my family. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. People with children, but also without money. that's that's what I'm here for. And you know what? Others can be here too. Just know that's what I'm geared for. I'm geared towards the small time. The guys who are probably only ever going to buy one spaceship with real money. Maybe two if they splurged a little bit or put some money down a couple times a year. And they got that really sweet one they were staring at for ages. And they don't have to lose it in wipes and whatnot. Right? I get it. I get it. This is for you. And, you know... My wife's never going to let me live down that I play a shipping guy in a, in a video game in space when I'm a shipping guy in real life, too. It's probably some horrible obsession that I'm going to have to deal with when I'm old. But, I understand you working class guys. I do. I get it. We're on the same page. And this is for you. I've probably caused a curse of some kind. The working man who started a YouTube channel. Nah. Anyway, I do a live stream every day at 9:35, but it's not a Star Citizen stream, just to warn you. It's a crazy political stream that is definitely going to get me kicked off YouTube one day. But, if that's your forte, have some fun. Go ahead. Click on it. I don't stream Sundays because you heathens. Well, let's get into it. That was a 10-minute long intro, but this is kind of an intro video to everything I'm going to be doing. And, I know everyone's talking about the 3.12 PTU right now, but I'm not in that because I'm a man who can wait for my presents and open them on Christmas. But, I'm sure that'll change if I get into these YouTube videos much. But till then, I am a man who can wait and wait for his presents and not even peek. Not even peek, let me tell you. But, it's a big but. There was something that kind of hit the Star Citizen waves that I wanted to jump in on. And that's the 400i leaks. Are they real at this point? I would have thought we'd seen something more if it was going to be in 3.12. I'm thinking at this point, if it is real, that most likely they're just testing it at 3.12 in like a private server just for, devs or something like that. It ain't out of the question that the live build comes down. They're like, hey, here you go. It's possible. I still think it unlikely. I thought it unlikely when they first started because I'm like, this is end of the year crunch time. You think they're just going to pump a new spaceship out of nowhere without telling us? But, could be a thing. But, besides all that, I wanted to talk about it because, A, the Origin lineup is one of my favorites. It really is. There's not a ton in it, but I don't know, like the 300i just has a special place in my heart, if you know what I mean. And is by far, and I will stick to this, the best light fighter in the game. Sorry, you can say what you want, but it has all the amenities, it has extra range, and enough firepower to challenge even a medium-sized fighter. So, just gonna point that out there. Fight me! No. I'm just having fun with you. But again, I don't understand how many fighters have full amenities that aren't heavy fighters. I'm gonna point that out. The point is, I like the 300 the Origin lineup because they kind of surprise me with their combat capabilities, despite the fact that they're supposed to be just they're supposed to be luxury ships. The 600i, in the future, that thing's probably just going to be a glass cannon. But for right now, I hear it, unless they changed it. Yeah, it's possible. Whatever. I heard that it's actually a beast in combat right now. I'm sure that'll change as glass becomes, glass in the game and will disrupt your armor. However, that it'll be a glass cannon when that day comes. So that makes that interests me, and it's fascinating. Usually I'm not too into the slick ships, but I noticed this game is a lot about the visuals, and usually that would throw me off because I'm a practical man. But I don't know, I realize video games are visual experiences, and origin ships really feed the eyes and are actually practical in game if you use them right. Gotta love it. Got to love it. Plus, for some reason, they're cheaper than a lot of their competition ships. I don't. That makes no sense in the lore. Take advantage and I should say cheaper in game, not necessarily cheaper on the store. This is important, especially for all you new guys who are thinking about getting into this. Most of these ships and all of these ships eventually are going to be purchasable in game. So there's two price points you got to think of. There's the price point in real life, which will give you, the advantage is you get that ship and it won't be wiped ever in this whole endless alpha eventual beta stage that we're in the game. And when the game finally gets released, when my grandchildren are old enough to play it, you you can have some insurance around it, and that'll be your startup ship. And that'll be your startup ship, even if it's not a starter ship. No. Quick and easy. I don't know if anyone ever explained that to you, but that's how it works. And in-game, though, they have certain price points. And you'll notice that most ships with similar firepower to, say, the 300i are actually more expensive than the 300i, but have less half the time. I got to compare more ships, but many of them have less maneuverability, at least on paper, and don't have the living quarters. Now, this is important in Star Citizen. If I know if you're just getting into it and you saw fancy spaceships, you might not know the importance of this. But having, it's also a survival game. So having the ability to feed your character and sleep, which if a bed allows you to log off the game and save your progress, essentially. Now, this is actually more complicated. Technically, you can log out and you'll keep all the money and everything that you made while you were in that game session. But wherever your spaceship is, baby, that's where it stays and gets erased. And you have to bring your spaceship back, and anything in that spaceship is now gone. So any cargo, anything like that. And you have to reclaim your ship insurance style. Yes, there's insurance in this game. You have to claim insurance. Right now, it's really simple, and most starter ships you can reclaim within 5 minutes. And for paying like 500 Alpha UNC, so the credits in game, which are Alpha credits, they're not the real credits, guys. It's testing credits. You can knock that down to 1 minute. So it's no big deal, but it is if you got some expensive cargo on board. And that's something to think about. Oh, and this is something I didn't understand when I first got in, so new players beware. If you're doing any first person missions or first person stuff, if you die, whatever gun you're holding is gone. It gets left there. You could potentially, if you have enough time, fly back to that location and pick that gun up if the servers are working right and the gun's there. But all the attachments, the gun, gone. And, that could be a big deal for a small-time player to lose 5,000 credits. Again, all these guys like bought thousands of dollars worth of ships who can do like a cargo run and make 200,000 in one go or something crazy. You okay? That's probably too much, but you get the point. They just can't understand the people who have one ship with maybe 4 SU worth of cargo. 6, maybe they splurged a bit and got something like an Origin 125C. Is it C? Whatever. Is it 125? God, I don't know. 115? The cargo variant, darn it. Like I said, I'm freezing in the van right now. I don't have a computer to look these things up. I'm going from memory. Anyway, let's get back to the 400i leaks, which I want to talk about, even though I know. It's old news, son. It's old news. No, it really isn't, if you think about it. If it is being made, it's most likely being made for 2000, for next year. One of the quarters, they'll probably sneak it in. And I still think it's being made. There's a chance that these leaks were purposeful just to see how people would react to it. And, that means it's a mixed bag, because a lot of people like me looked at it and went, oh, sweet, it's like a slick space yacht with some of the forward thrusters, fins and thrusters, making it look like it hydroplanes, but it flies and it's in space. That's slick. I like it. Other people jumped, oh, it's like the Star Wars Naboo ships. Cool. Yeah, The Phantom Menace may have been a lame movie, but they had excellent visuals and good design. Except for the Gungans. But moving on. Though you have to admit their underwater city was pretty cool. Yeah. So, when you look at this ship, normal people go, hey, wow, cool, a mini space yacht. That's slick. I'm going to have a good time in that thing if I can eventually put enough fake copper coins together in a video game to buy it. Not real ones, baby. Remember, this is the common man. We're not going to put $100 down to buy a spaceship. $100? You crazy, man. I mean, we might be convinced to put $100 down on a really crazy video game, which I suspect some people have done, but we ain't going to spend $100 on a fake spaceship in a video game, home slice. We ain't doing that. Especially when you can buy it in game. So. Oh man, this video is dragging on. You have to forgive me, guys. I'm used to live streaming, so that these videos might run a little long. I hope you like them. Maybe I'll have to split them up. Anyway, you can let me know if you like the length or not in the comments. But we're finally on our topic. But there's also this other cadre of people, the too cool for school type. You know the type. The guys who buy $200 designer jeans that already have holes in them. Like, they paid $150 for some little Asian chick who's clearly a slave to bring scissors and knives to your pants and make lots of holes in them so they look dirty and ragged, even though they're new. We know those guys, right? The Drake obsession types who look at it with, oh, this is ugly. Where are the holes? Where are the dings? Why doesn't it look ugly? It's so hideous, it's not hideous. Oh, the too cool for school crowd. The rich cool for school crowd who have to have holes in all their jeans. And all of us working class people who have actually put holes in our jeans, the way you're supposed to, by working them hard, look at them like, what? What do you mean it's hideous? You're the ones with the hideous ships that are purposely made ugly. And, nothing against you Drake aficionados, you rich boys who want to look poor. But you're not fooling anyone. We know. We know. We know that you're rich and you're just paying people to rip holes in your jeans. Or put dings in your spaceship. Stop. You don't need to pretend anymore. It's okay. But then again, it's a video game, so pretend all you want. So, it's going to be a mixed bag. Hopefully, they stick with this direction and recognize that the slick mini yacht design isn't for the Drake aficionado crowd. And, like, hey, I like a good Drake ship every now and then, but I don't pay people to put holes in my jeans. I put the holes in my jeans, damn it. That's my job, and I don't have to pay someone $100 to do it. So, you know, it's not really for them, though. This is a slick ship meant for, I'd say, kind of the everyday guy who's in actual banged up, beat up cars and vans and shipping and other junk or farming every single day. He's around the tough pickup trucks and everything. And when he plays a video game, he wants some escapism and he wants something slick to look at. And you know what he never had enough money to scrounge together for? A yacht. A cool little boat with a nice interior that he could bring his family on and fish off the side. But you know what he could have in this video game? A sweet little space yacht that can fly and do all cool missions and whatnot, and has well, if the leaks are true, right? We're assuming the leaks are at least semi-accurate here, just for the sake of the video. Could all be false. Then again, they may hear this video and go, wow, we like that idea. Let's make it. That's what's fun about being in the alpha, despite all the crashes and junk and all that. You actually do get to affect development in some ways. It's excellent. So anyway, I personally really like the design, and I kind of like what they're going with it. It seems, if we assume that they're going off of what they've been lately doing with Origin designs and having one base model and 2 or 3 variants, 100i, 300i series, looking at you. I know you have the Mustang, and technically you have more ships without variants in the Origin lineup than you do with variants, but the later ships have variants that kind of mirror the 300i series. So I think it's a safe bet to assume that we're going to be seeing future Origin ships with variants. It just seems to make sense. They get more ships out of the same chassis. It doesn't take as much work to switch some things in one spaceship, one model concept, and then from there make completely new spaceships, right? It just makes sense. It's cheaper for them. We like it because we like more variants within the same spaceship model. Like, maybe, if I can bring up the too cool for school crowd again, the Cutlass has 3 variants for 3 very different things you want to do: cargo, bounty hunting, and the medical gameplay. But, if you're too cool for school, you need that ugly ship. So, yeah. All right, to be fair, it's also a pretty practical ship with, guns and shields and all the pretty maneuvering you want, despite the fact that it's a medium ship. But we'll get into that in a little bit here. And that's, actually, we'll get into it now. What I like the most about the 400i is the fact that we're getting some more variants in the medium ship crowd. There's a lot of ships. There's a lot of ships in Star Citizen, but there's just some categories that for some reason have been neglected, despite their popularity in a lot of ways, or even just the fact that we're going to see a lot of them. And one of those is your medium small ship. That's, your Flying Dicks, the Freelancer. I have no way. I'm sorry. I like the Freelancer. It's a very practical ship, but it is a flying cock. I know all you Freelancer types, when they put in those new pretty space stations with those circle spike deals, you flew through it and you were thinking dirty thoughts, and shame on you and your flying cock. But again, it's a very practical ship. It has lots of firepower. It's a beast. It has great shields. It flies like a hovering tank. And it looks like just a giant flying penis. And you look at the variants, you're like, oh, look, this is a penis with a little stick sticking out of it. This is a penis with bitch hips. Yes, okay. My humor will stoop that low, and I will not apologize for it, unless my mom is listening to this, in which case, hey, you raised me, get over it. So, you have your flying penis with the bitch hips, and you have the too cool for school crowd with the already cut in the hole jeans Cutlass in the medium small crowd. And you got nothing else. That step right after starter ships and fighters, we could include the Connie in this, but the Connie's actually a little bigger, and it has some more amenities than these ships, and so I don't count it. It's technically the medium class. Ooh. I just repeated a word. Clearly it means things are different now. But yes, they are. You have your small medium, and you got your medium, and then you got your large mediums. We'll just wait for the pizza company to catch on to that concept. But, in the small medium ship crowd, we only have the freelancer and the cutlass variants to choose from. I mean, you could include something like the Mako maybe, but that's still kind of small despite the fact that its big ass wings make it look ridiculously large, but it's still small. Come on, guys. But your startup, small, medium, multi-crew option, but you could solo them ships. Yeah, because, you can solo a cutlass, you can solo a freelancer in any of their variants. In any of those variants. And this is important to me because I think most guys like me are going to be solo players because, quite frankly, we don't have a lot of time. We can't sit down and put 3 hours into a video game on a every other day or daily basis. We can't do that. We're talking like an hour here, 2 hours there. We start to play and then our kids scream in the background and our character stares at the floor for 30 minutes and we come back and we're in prison. Yeah, that happened to me. I'm salty about it. Real brave there, bounty hunter, shooting a man staring at the floor. Okay, I Josh. When I bounty hunt, I'd probably laugh and do it too. Whatever. Bounty hunting is a blast in that game. But, sometimes a man just wants to break the law in peace, okay? So it's really nice that they're starting to add some variants to this class because we're going to be seeing these medium ships the most. They're going to be in the most common most common ship in the game, just because of the nature of this game. So you understand, your light fighter is only going to be able to do combat. Maybe that's all you want to do, but really you're going to be required to do more. Like, if you really want to make decent money and keep that light fighter alive, you're going to need to, say, scavenge the wreck of your dead enemies to get parts that are still alive that you can sell later. And if you have no cargo, you can't do that. If you want to do first-person missions later on, you're not going to be able to do that in a light fighter. You could, but you're only going to have a few playstyles open to you because you're going to be stuck with light armor. They've said this, and they seem clear that they mean to do it, that you're only going to be able to fly, like get in a cockpit, in light armor or a flight suit. And this isn't going to be an interesting change when this happens because, well, those jump seats on like the jump seats in ships in general, because the force reactions and all that are going to become much more important. And ships like, say, the Pisces, which I fly around, is going to be more important because if you want to do any first-person missions, especially with friends, and you want someone to be a heavy, you're going to need a jump seat. And it's the only starter ship with a jump seat. So, hey, do I think it's still worth that extra price point? No. No, gosh darn it, no. Though it is the cheapest drop ship in the game. What else am I going to say about that? Do with that what you will, but it can only carry 2 people, more than the pilot, so. Moving on. So with this, you're going to see these small, medium ships the most, because they're pretty much the smallest ship you can pull off and still solo. But you got enough cargo to do cargo runs if you feel the need. You got enough space to throw a rock on there and do some land mining if you're in the mood. You have enough space to do some piracy if you want to do that and salvage stuff. You have enough, fuel to jet around the galaxy and run away and get away from light fighters, for example, that are chasing you down. There's a good chance that most light fighters aren't going to find much to do other than sit around and look pretty and wait for a medium ship to come by and try and shoot them. Like, light fighters, you're going to see them, but they're going to be deterrents. So, like, you have a homestead and you've built a landing pad on there and the ability to do some light maintenance and refueling on your light fighter. Well, now your light fighter is kind of like your home shotgun. It's there. It doesn't have a lot of use outside of your home or just blasting things for fun, but it'll be there when you need it and someone's trying to raid your homestead, right? bam, you got your light fighter ready to go. You're going to have an advantage over whatever medium ship they're using because, right, there's no point in raiding somebody's homestead unless you plan on stealing stuff, and that means you need a ship with cargo. You can't take stuff with you if you have no cargo space. Now, maybe they brought a light fighter or two along, but the light fighter range is going to be really small, so that means their base of operations is extremely close, or you're unlucky enough to run into a big enough org that has a Kraken, in which case you might be screwed. Or, you better get a lot of other guys with homesteads around you together and get some bombers and hire a mercenary crew to take care of that bitch, because things ain't gonna be pretty and they're gonna ride roughshod over you. But, so these are the various reasons why these light medium ships are gonna be the most common, because they're small enough to solo or multi-crew if you want to do that. They have cargo, they have enough things to do pretty much anything you want. And, they have some cool variants to do pretty much anything you want. But it's, they're still limited because, like I said, unless if I were to choose right now which one I would fly, and this is pretty much as big as I'm going to go because I'm pretty much going to be soloing unless I find some decent guys to play with. But, I play so erratically, I can't be a crewman on a ship somewhere, and I certainly can't be the captain because, well, everybody else might want to play, and I won't be able to play because I'm changing diapers. I think lots of people can relate. So, even in a group, I'd most likely be buying a ship like a Vulcan or something, in-game, not in real life, gentlemen, and using that as like a support role whenever they needed it, and hanging out with them when I was in-game. That kind of thing. So, obviously, I should mention that there are more ships coming down the pipeline, but most of them, like, Vulcans and all that. And I don't know their sizes. I'll have to look at it. Like I said, no time to look things up. I'm just off the cuff right now. And I'm 30 minutes in. Did you guys know I thought this would be a 10-minute video? Holy crap on a stick. Okay, so I'm gonna speed things up a little bit here. No one wants to listen to, well, actually, people do, but it's live streams, usual people, and I guess I'm just gonna throw random images on the background for 30 minutes of footage. You guys are crazy. Anyway, so the 400i adds some nice variance to this size, because if you looked at the leaks, at first people thought it was competing with the Connie, which would make sense too, because there's pretty much the Connie in that class. And you got the Corsair. The 600i was supposed to be in that class, but it got just way too big to be considered that. And that's probably for the best, because there's still the 500i and the 400i if it's real. So it makes sense with how they've set things up with each level of whatever I being larger than the last. It makes sense that the 100i is your starter ship. The 200i, I hope they make some kind of class ship, like maybe a hunter class ship. They're making animals in the game. That would roll. Or something specific, and then some variants on it. And then you have your 300i, and now, right, it jumps to the 600i, which is something big and I guess more comparable to something like a Carrack. And then on and on. And by on and on, I guess it goes right up to the 890 jump. Hey, shush. And I know there's the Mustang and then the snub. But whatever. Let me get back on topic. It's nice to have some variance in essentially the most common size ship that we're going to see. Like, we're going to see these ships more than anything. And I, for one, would be really happy to see a different class of people other than the too cool for your school crowd who cut their own jeans and the Flying Dicks crowd. And if you're wondering, yes, if I were to choose right now, I would be in the Flying Dicks crowd because, well, it's a practical ship and it's a tank and it's much easier to solo than the Cutlass is. However, the Cutlass is better for multi-crews in my mind. The doors, the way it's set up, the fact that the turret's on the front so it can help the pilot shoot, it just makes sense for a multi-crew situation. But you can solo it. You can do that. So, it's a good place for a group of people who play, but they don't play regularly. It's a good ship to own because, everyone can jump in the back if everyone's on, or you can go off and do missions by yourself if no one's on. Fair choice. Fair choice. But again, right, flying dicks for the people who are solo, and maybe we'll have a friend every now and then who might be able to jump in the turret for fun. Flying dicks. But, I don't want to be in the flying dicks crowd. It's not me. And I kind of like the idea of slick yacht crowd myself, especially since, if we can believe any of the leaks, it seems to be almost like a first person mission slash, mercenary vibe to the ship, right? There's a 3-man crew, possible, they say, right? Again, we're assuming the leaks are real. And then, various standard facilities plus a garage, a cargo bay, and then, an armory. Now, whether or not this is just a wall where a lot of guns can be put up and it can be locked, or a walk-in mini closet deal with guns on the wall. Oh, God, I want it to be that second one. Could you imagine a sweet little space yacht with a walk-in armory with all the guns and armor you could want just hanging out there? It'd be so sick. And you could put some cool locks on it. I mean, when iCache comes in, this is going to be really important. You're not going to be able to carry all your guns with you. Unless, of course, this 400i is real, and they have that, and you could very well have all your guns with you on your ship. Now, this is also risky, because if your ship goes down, all your guns go with it. So, take care of your damn ship. But it would be pretty slick for all of us who like doing first-person missions, who are more of the first-person shooter kind of guy who got into the ships because, you've always wanted to, board a spaceship, take it over, and shoot people in the face, and naturally you just got into the flying because, well, it's Star Citizen. And this ship, if it is what it is, definitely suits me. And I like that. And I like the look, and I like the concept. Plus, I just like their variants at it. I hope they add a few variants too. Maybe a more combat-oriented variant with, maybe they do something crazy like take some fancy facility out and throw a bunch of missiles in it, or just add some more gun hard points would be my preference. Or maybe even expand the, expand the armory and make it bigger. That'd be kind of cool. And, I'm sure they do their standard combat touring for the standard version, and then probably exploration slash cargo, which is kind of their standard. But I kind of like how they're going more towards cargo slash exploration rather than just cargo. Like the 315P, that's the one. That one, for example, actually has 12 SCUs, and it's still a fighter-sized craft, which is a big deal in my mind. That's enough SCU to still make decent, okay money at standard cargo running without drugs, which is a big deal because you can do those runs much faster because you can fly directly to the facility. Unlike, drug runs, which, if you only have about 4 SCU, you really need, the only way you're going to make money off of cargo running is if you're a drug boat. Now, that'll change later on when you can sell things like, entire boxes worth of rifles and whatnot, or ship components, or assembled pieces of whatnot. You'll be able to sell these things in the future, and you'll be able to figure out where you can get the best price for them. And a little ship is much more suitable for that than, say, a big old Caterpillar, because quite frankly, maybe you can make some really good money selling a couple boxes of rifles out on the frontier, but they only have enough money for a few, and they only have demand for like 2 SCU of rifles, right? Or, maybe 4 SCU of ammo, but you try to sell them 20,000 units of ammo, they're going to look at you funny and say, get out of here, home slice. So it just makes sense with like assembled parts, especially on the frontier, that you would use smaller boats like that. Guy, I should have saved that for a different video. Okay, so I'm excited to see what they do with the 400 lineup. I hope the 400i is real. I think it more likely, if it is real, we'll see it next year, and they were just testing it on the server this year. And yeah, we'll talk about other ships I want to see, and how I have a small theory that the 890 Jump is just a variant of an 800i series. Ooh. But again, this is 40 minutes long. Oh my God, you guys are awesome if you made it through all of this, listening to a man rant about something a video game. God, I gotta go. You guys are all awesome. I'm sure my children are up, and I'm sure my wife is wondering if I'm dead. So, have a good one. Catch you next time. Oh, like, subscribe, share. the whole shebang. Stream at 9:35 if you're feeling politically inclined. All right, now I'm out.